Right now at 5, visitors by the thousands look for ways to stay cool at this year's Marion Days event.
And we still have an alert day in place. Heat index values for some of us could reach 115 degrees, and we have a few scattered showers and storms out there this morning. We'll look at all that in that forecast to get you out the door coming up.
Plus, a local HVAC company has some tips on keeping your air conditioner in working order.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOA Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's Thursday. We're getting that much closer to Friday, but the big thing is today's the first day of August.
Yes, so it is. Yes,
getting that much closer to school starting too for kids in the 4 states.
Might not be super exciting for some.
Some may not be super excited about it. Others, some kids really enjoy school.
Absolutely.
And my hat is off to you.
Yes.
We do have also some showers and storms. We had that line of storms that was severe late last night and actually did trigger a couple of brief severe thunderstorm warnings in Crawford and Bourbon counties a little after midnight. Now that main line is already disintegrated. We had some redevelopment back behind that line, which is what you see as a current line on the Skywatch Storm Tracker now, and it's kind of begun to decay, especially through our area. Some thunderstorm activity trailing back into Washington County down north of Tulsa, and we've had a little bit of redevelopment taking place in parts of southeast Kansas. So we've got just spotty showers, couple of showers and storms here and there. We're going to first drag south into northeastern Oklahoma, so we've got rain right through Miami along the I-44 corridor through the Will Rogers Turnpike, north of Veneta, thunderstorms south of Nowata, and then some thunderstorms just north of Skiatook down in northeastern Oklahoma. And as we head back into southeastern Kansas, we got some showers, a couple little thunderstorms, one west of Fredonia, another west of Chanute, south of Yates Center. And then we'll cross the state line. We've got some decent rain falling now, just exiting Osceola, getting back into Stockton, Greenfield, and stretching back toward Joplin, Carthage. A few isolated showers around the Columbus area and some just to the north of Neosho. So what ultimately happened is that line of nasty storms that was expected yesterday off to our northwest was able to hold its own a little longer, and that's why we got a few more showers and storms than what we were originally expecting overnight and into this morning. Again, not that anybody's complaining about the rain. It certainly made it feel a lot nicer on the drive in. The only disadvantage to this rain is it's going to leave behind high humidity, high dew point levels. Now, as we mentioned, some of those excessive heat warnings came to an end last night and were replaced with heat advisories. So in the heat advisory area, again, 105 to 110 degree heat index values, but those for the bulk of southeast Kansas still under excessive heat warnings could still see those heat index values approaching 115 degrees. As we head into the afternoon on the future track, just a few clouds here and there. Otherwise, a relatively dry and calm day. It's still going to be warm and muggy, though. As we look inside, look at these temperatures. Boy, yesterday we were about 10, 12 degrees warmer than this. 71 Joplin, 70 in Pittsburgh, and across the area, again, not a bad start to the day. Look at Neodesha, 68. The rest of us low, mid, and upper 70s. So, again, a little bit cooler than where we were yesterday at this time. Still going to be a hot one, but we're looking at fewer lower 100 degree readings and just more of these upper 90s out there. We'll have partly cloudy skies as we head into the afternoon and evening. Could see a few additional thunderstorms late tonight into early tomorrow morning. We'll talk about that and if there's any even brief relief from the heat in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, the wait is finally over for a Missouri man wrongfully held behind bars for 34 years. Christopher Dunn walked out of prison Tuesday despite efforts by the state attorney general to keep him locked up. A judge overturned Dunn's murder conviction earlier this month and ordered his immediate release. But the state attorney general appealed to try and keep Dunn behind bars. Dunn's release came after the state Supreme Court ruled the Department of Corrections did not have the right to keep Dunn jailed because he no longer had a conviction on his record. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly visited Independence yesterday to help break ground on an expansion and renovation project at the Labette Health Independence Healthcare Center. This $7.9 million expansion will include a new cancer infusion center, rural health clinic, and inpatient testing labs. It will also provide upgrades to the emergency department, ultrasound services, and add 17 patient exam rooms. Construction is expected to be completed by June 1st of next year. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, high temperatures can overwork air conditioning units and cause them to fail. This can leave households in an uncomfortable situation. An HVAC professional in Pittsburgh recommends keeping the filters clean and changing them when needed.
Make it long lasting, your condenser, it's taking a water hose and spraying it over that compressor and over the coil to cool it off and also keep the coil clean. That way you can get the right temperature reading, and also that way it doesn't draw so much electricity.
HVAC professionals also remind the public to keep up with AC maintenance because if damage becomes severe, repair costs can go up. Marion Days is set to begin today in Carthage, and thousands have already made their way to the city, with some literally setting up tents and camping out. High temps this week could make staying cool and safe difficult. KOAM's Anthony Saviello found out what people are doing to beat the heat.
Tents set up as far as the eye can see for Marion Days in Carthage. Thousands already setting up shop before festivities begin.
So I've been here for about a week, so being able to help set up everything has been nice. See how this whole event unfolds. Obviously there's a lot of work behind it. I'm looking forward to seeing all that come to fruition, see all the people come here and just enjoy the experience here.
However, despite the celebrations, the heat is not letting up.
Colorado is hot, but it's not humid, so it's a whole big shift, you know.
Yeah.
After your showers, you're always feeling really, how do I say it? Just sticky in general, you know. It's horrible.
Most people using hats to fend off the sun's harmful rays. Much of the grounds at the Congregation of the Mother Co-Redemptrix are covered by trees, making shade easily accessible. And with temperatures projected to be in the upper 90s, the shade is essential. Some have also found refuge within the buildings on the campus.
Well, me and my friend John over there, we were just going through the auditoriums, it's just blasting AC in there.
For those who have traveled halfway across the country, the time spent with old friends and creating new ones is worth it.
I think it's great. As a community, the Vietnamese Catholic diaspora, we're very spread out, and the communities that we live in are typically small, but being able to all congregate here and seeing 60,000 of us, we're not alone. There's so many of us here, and it's really beautiful.
Reporting in Carthage, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Marion Days will continue through Sunday. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The Joplin Outlaws begin their final homestand of the regular season. We'll have the details. Plus, Americans are being blamed for hiking the cost of real estate in Southern Europe. And dangerous heat continues. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Well, Joplin Outlaws return home to Joe Becker Stadium yesterday evening after a road trip where they won 3 and lost 3 last night, begin their final homestand of the regular season. It's First Responders Night at Joe Becker Stadium as the Outlaws take on the Texarkana Rhinos. Joplin firefighter and EMT Colby Tucker fires a strike on tonight's first pitch, as does Joplin Sports Hall of Famer Bob Tucker on his 86th birthday. The Outlaws start Reed Woodland on the mound. Even though he's a position player, he gets a strikeout in the first, then another in the second. Joplin falls behind 3-1. Brett Serwinski starts a 2-out rally in the third with a bloop single. Next batter, Cale Good, is going to get another base hit to center. So bases are loaded for Will Doherty, and he puts a charge into this one, but it's lined directly to the Rhinos' right fielder to end the inning. In the fourth, Texarkana adds 2 more with a home run to right field. Gets worse from there, just not the Outlaws' night. They fall to the Rhinos 17-5. Early yesterday morning, the Riverton 12U All-Stars load up into their cars and begin the trip to Whitestown, Indiana to participate in the Little League Regional Championship. They'll be facing the state champions from Iowa in their first round game on Friday afternoon and are excited at the opportunity to play on national television.
It's been an honor, actually. They're a good group of kids. They love baseball and they love to compete. And I would hope to coach them forever, but I can't do that.
To Major League Baseball, Royals at the White Sox, already up 1-0. Freddie Fermin adds to that lead. He hammers this pitch to deep left, and it's 3-0 Royals. Fifth inning, Salvador Perez is going to hit one to the wall in left center, and that gets down. It's an RBI double, and Kansas City leads 5-3. So we go to the ninth. Royals lead by 3. Bobby Witt Jr. gets the inning started with an infield single, another multi-hit game for him. Next batter is Vinny Pasquantino. This ball had no chance of staying in the park. Take a look at this. 2-run homer, and it is 8-3 Royals. They add 2 more later in the inning. The White Sox entered the day with a 16-game losing streak, and the Royals turned that into 17. They dominate on the road. Final score, 10-3. Meanwhile, in St. Louis, rookie pitcher Michael McGreevy making his MLB debut as the Cardinals try to win the series against Texas. Second inning, he strikes out Nathaniel Lowe swinging. Then in the third inning, McGreevy strikes out Travis Jankowski swinging. Later in the fourth, Marcus Semien goes down looking as well. McGreevy goes 7 innings, allowing 1 run and finishes with 3 strikeouts. Fifth inning, Cardinals lead 3-0. First, Alec Burleson hits one off Andrew Heaney, and it drops in for a single. 2-run score. 3 batters later, Tommy Pham lines one deep, and it rolls off the wall for a double. 2 more runs score. So we go to the next batter. Brendan Donovan drives one up the middle for a single. Pham scores. Rangers have to go to the bullpen before the fifth for the second night in a row. Cardinals win it 10-1. Still to come, a new study suggests certain types of cancer becoming more common in younger adults. Plus, another check of that forecast, talking the rain this morning and that heat when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:17, getting ready to be 5:18 on this Thursday morning. We're starting with the Skywatch Storm Tracker, and even just since the show began, a lot of what was trying to redevelop across southeast Kansas has begun to die out. But we did get a few showers and storms, and again, even a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings a little after midnight for Bourbon and Crawford counties out there. They were short-lived, but we did get that leading edge from those severe storms off to our northwest and north that came through and brought some fairly gusty winds out there. But you see just a few spotty showers now across southeastern Kansas, Chanute, just west of Fredonia. We've got some Independence, Oswego, Columbus. We travel down to northeastern Oklahoma. This is the most organized batch of rain that we've got in the area right now, stretching right along Will Rogers Turnpike through Miami to Veneta, southeast of Newada, and all the way back down to Skiatook and Cleveland. So, and down there, I've actually got some thunderstorm activity. So, still getting some heavy rain. This is all still pushing off to the east-southeast. Got a couple of stray showers into southwestern Missouri into Jasper County, and then around the Greenfield area. The bulk of this, though, has now moved out of our immediate area. But taking a look back, even just this line, so we had that first line that came through that was the initial severe line that did give us those 2 warnings. That kind of fizzled out very quickly once it started rolling a little further southeast, because there it goes. We had development take place back behind it, and that's starting to kind of die out. And we had new development try and take place earlier this morning back behind that, and it's also dying out. We could still see, though, a couple of strong storms late tonight after midnight along and south of I-44. We've got a low-end hail risk and a low-end wind risk out there, and we'll show you what that looks like on the future track. Heading into this afternoon, again, just a few clouds. Still going to be hot, still going to be muggy. It's why we still have excessive heat warnings. It's why we still have heat advisories in place. That's why today is still an alert day. But some good news, there's a cold front that's going to push through. and that's going to switch our winds out of the north. Now, unfortunately, it's not going to cause our temperatures to plummet by any means, but it's going to bring in some drier air. And here we are after midnight. We get these thunderstorms developing right behind that front along and south of I-44. So anything we see won't stay in our area very long before it surges south, but we could still see a couple of stronger storms down south across the region as we head into the overnight hours. Heading into our Friday, it's still hot, but it's not as bad for most of us as it has been the last couple of days. But this relief, unfortunately, is going to be short-lived. As we head into the weekend, temperatures are going to start to heat back up on us, and unfortunately, it's going to be unpleasant. So again, today, heat advisories in the orange, so those have replaced a lot of those excessive heat warnings, so heat index values 105 to 110. And then you get the excessive heat warnings across southeast Kansas, so that's still heat index values approaching 115 degrees. So don't forget, we have a number of extreme heat safety tips on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. We're still, though, in that range where heat exhaustion is likely, heat stroke is possible with some of these heat index values out there. We have a graphic on our website, too, that will give you the warning signs for those as well, so you can kind of know what to look for. Still got some light showers in Joplin, 71, southeast breeze at 8, dew point down to 67. It's still up there, but it's lower than where it has been the last few mornings. Around the area, take a look at these temperatures. I'm loving the Neodesha's temperature. I'm sure they are too. It's 69. We've got low mid 70s otherwise across the area, so most of us about 10 to 12 degrees cooler this morning where we were this time yesterday. Still could see a couple of isolated shower storms for about 8, 9 o'clock. Most of us, they'll start drying out. Partly cloudy, upper 80s by late morning. Our highs today, once again, upper 90s, but we're looking at a lot less opportunity for lower 100s. It's still hot, but at least we're not looking to breach triple digits for our air temperatures. I love those partly cloudy skies. Partly cloudy through the evening. Again, maybe a few storms south of I-44 late tonight, and cooler. Seasonably cool, actually, right around 69. Our average low about 70, so that's still not bad. Less humid tomorrow with that north breeze, and it'll be gusty, so it'll feel kind of nice, dry things out. It'll turn around, though, and start to heat back up, upper 90s, lower 100s as we head into next week. A couple of shower and thunderstorm chances by the end of next week. As a check of your forecast, we're back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, an ongoing clinical trial has found that a commonly used drug for organ transplants could extend women's fertility by up to 5 years. Rapamycin is a bacterial compound used to keep immune systems from rejecting a new organ. It can also treat certain vascular conditions by slowing down cell growth. Studies in mice have found the drug could counteract aging of the ovaries, possibly delaying menopause. This clinical trial tested it out in 50 women ages 35 to 45, and the results have been promising so far. The trial still has 2 more years before it's complete. A new study suggests certain types of cancer are becoming more common in younger adults. Researchers looked at data of more than 23 million people who were diagnosed with cancer between 2000 and 2019. The patients were born between 1920 and 1990. They found that among the 34 types of cancer examined, 17 appear to be more common in Generation X and millennials when compared to older generations. The researchers also found 10 of those cancers are related to obesity. Experts say rising childhood obesity rates, decreased physical activity, and increased use of more advanced diagnostic tests may be behind the rising cancer rates in younger adults. A trip to the county fair in Minnesota is looking a little different this year, well, at least for the animals. As bird flu spreads in the state, county fairs and the state fair are requiring extra screening in an effort to keep everyone healthy. Adam Duxter reports.
If at any point in the last 20 years you visited the cattle barn at the Benton County Fair,
everything in this barn will be shown tomorrow, Wednesday, during the fair.
There's a good chance you've seen Adam Skapansky.
And there's probably at least 6 of the 7 main breeds here.
A family dairy farmer and former 4-H'er knows how much goes into getting here.
Kids get to show their cows. They work with them all spring. I mean, it gives them a chance to build character, hard work, different ethics they can build there.
But this year,
we want to take every precaution to keep every animal as healthy as we can.
Takes extra steps.
Our team has really
done their due diligence and researched this.
This and every county fair, along with the state fair, requiring every cow to get a negative test for bird flu after the virus spread into Minnesota livestock for the first time this summer. Board President Ted Prom says they want to stress there's no known risk to humans. He says this can be a teaching moment.
We are more educational about it. We want the consumer to know that, we're trying our best on a daily basis to provide that husbandry for those animals.
Skapansky says the only cow concern this week should be who gets the first place ribbon.
It's just like the flu when you're sick. You don't want to bring it in and start spreading it around.
And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
We've had a few scattered showers and storms this morning across the area. Those beginning to die out. Got another alert day today for dangerous heat. Look at all that when we come back.
Good morning. I'm Elise Snowy with your KOAM News update. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly visited Independence yesterday to help break ground on an expansion and renovation project at the Labette Health Independence Healthcare Center. The $7.9 million expansion will include a new cancer infusion center, rural health clinic, and patient testing labs. It will also provide upgrades to the emergency department, ultrasound services, and add 17 patient exam rooms. High temperatures can overwork air conditioning units, causing them to fail. This can leave households in an uncomfortable situation. One way to keep your AC unit is to keep the filters clean and changing them when needed. It's also important to keep up with AC maintenance because if damage becomes severe, repair costs can go up.
And we have another alert day today. Dangerous heat once again. Heat index values anywhere from 105 to 115 degrees. Highs today upper 90s out there with partly cloudy skies. We head into this evening, still partly cloudy, and then maybe a few thunderstorms out there, and maybe even a strong storm or two along and south of I-44. It'll be much cooler tonight, back into the upper 60s, low 70s. Less humid tomorrow with a northerly breeze, but it's short-lived as the dangerous heat returns heading into next week.
Right now at 5:30, MoDOT invites the public to weigh in on some potential projects.
And we have an alert day again today. Dangerous heat out there. Heat index values once again for some of us could reach up to 115 degrees. We'll look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, some local kids host a cool way to beat the heat and raise some funds for a cool cause.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It's Thursday, and more importantly, it's August the 1st. So it's
here we are.
We're here. Kids' school is right around the corner. Not like, the stores haven't already been telling you about this, but it's more obvious now. that August the 1st date, for some, definitely a dreaded date, because that reminds you that school's only a few weeks away. But some kids, like my youngest, he's been asking when does school start since like the 4th of July.
Oh, how
he's
about that?
ready to go back. He loves it. But not everybody does. It's a 50-50 mix. But something everybody does love is cooler temperatures and rain. And we got a little bit of both this morning. This is the Skywatch Storm Tracker. So if you take a look, we had some redevelopment taking place in southeast Kansas. It fizzled out. But if you look at now, we have new redevelopment taking place in southeast Kansas. So up here in our northern counties, a little bit of a heavier shower here in southern Cherokee County. The bulk of the main rain right now, though, is down northeast Oklahoma. So we're going to drag this up a little north. We'll take a look at these new showers around Burlington and well to the east of Iola. Got a little bit of activity out there. It's not much, but it's something. And we head a little further south. We've got a new little shower going up around Coffeyville. We got another one in southern Cherokee County, west of Baxter Springs. But again, the bulk of the meaningful rainfall down here across northeastern Oklahoma. Again, along the Will Rogers Turnpike, down through Veneta, northwest of Adair, going through Skiatook right now, where this is the only real full-on thunderstorm activity that we have this morning. And then the last of these showers in southwest Missouri have now exited. Greenfield field. You're drying out, just a couple of spotty showers here and there. So again, you see where we had that new development take place back behind this line, and then it fizzled out, and now we've got little showers trying to get going. The big story, though, is still the heat. Excessive heat warnings for a lot of southeast Kansas, and that is still, again, for heat index values up to 115. New heat advisories for a good portion of the area as well, and this is heat index values 105 to 110. So still not a significant improvement, but that much lower. Heading through today, though, still dealing with that dangerous heat, but we're going more upper 90s. Still could see a couple of lower 100-degree readings, but for the most part, we're going to start falling a little below the triple digits. And not a bad start this morning. 71 in Joplin, 69 in Pittsburgh. And temperatures this morning, they're pretty pleasant out there. We've got low to mid 70s for most of us across the area, and lower dew points. The air's a little more breathable. Could still see a few thunderstorms through about 9, and then we'll go partly cloudy, hot, highs upper 90s today. Could see some additional storms late tonight. Some of those could be strong. We'll go over the details in the full forecast here in a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. MoDOT invited the public to a meeting concerning needs in the region. The meeting took place yesterday at the Public Safety Training Facility in Joplin. MoDOT asked the public to weigh in on the list of needs from around the state and provide feedback to help establish future funding priorities. MoDOT officials say this is an annual process.
It's sort of a check-in with the public about how are we doing in terms of, do we have the priorities right? Does the list look correct? Because our process is very grassroots. We start with working with regional officials who are in turn working with local officials who have their ear on their community. But even through this process, sometimes needs emerge because something's happening in the area.
Comments can be submitted through August 23rd using the comment form we provided on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Some kids in Pittsburgh have a big idea for staying cool and helping others. Nana's House played host to a grandkid-operated lemonade stand yesterday, and they raked in the bucks. What made the event even sweeter was the kids' decision to donate the money raised to St. Jude's Children's Hospital and some local fundraisers for kids in need.
It sounded fun, and I did it at daycare once, and I thought it was really fun. I just like helping people, and I feel like it makes me a kind person.
According to Nana, also known as Karen Thomas, the kids raised $156 for St. Jude, and they'd gladly take more donations. The Crawford County Fair kicked off yesterday in Girard, Kansas. The fair promises something for the whole family and visitors of all ages, including nightly live music, a rodeo, and mutton busting, animal judging, barnyard Olympics, and a lot more. The fair also provides plenty of displays, including one on canning and food preservation.
Canning has changed a little bit over the years. From the types of equipment, we have more modern equipment that you can use between pressure cookers, but still some of the old ways of canning with the water baths with specific things can be used. So it really depends on the person and the direction you want to use to do food preservation.
The Crawford County Fair runs through Saturday. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Rescue workers in southern India are still searching through debris after several mudslides were triggered. Plus, Iran is vowing revenge following an overnight strike which left a Hamas terror leader dead. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
We have an alert day again today for dangerous heat. Heat index values anywhere from 105 to 115 degrees. Highs upper 90s and partly cloudy skies. Then late tonight after midnight, could see a few scattered storms, and some of those along and south of I-44 could be strong to low-grade severe, and we're much cooler, back into the upper 60s and low 70s. Nice north breeze, a little less humid for our Friday. Still hot though. Dangerous heat returns though as we head into next week.
Topping World Watch. Americans are reportedly buying more homes in Europe, and they're being blamed for hiking the cost of real estate in southern Europe. According to Seville's Real Estate, a strong U.S. dollar and a desire for the European lifestyle is behind the surge. Thanks to strong local demand and a lack of supply, the region of high-end homes has become the best performing market in the world. Seville's data shows Portugal's capital city, Lisbon, is the fastest growing sector for luxury home prices in the world. In second place comes Amsterdam, which of course is in Northern Europe, but is followed by Madrid and then Athens. The demand is not expected to slow down in the second half of this year, especially in Lisbon and Barcelona. Rescue workers in southern India are searching through mud and debris after several mudslides were triggered. Those mudslides in the state of Kerala killing more than 150 people. Torrential downpours moving mud and water through villages. Officials in Kerala say more than 180 people are missing and dozens of bodies have been found. More than 300 rescuers are working to pull those stuck out of the debris. Iran is vowing revenge following an overnight strike in Tehran, which left a Hamas terror leader dead. It came just hours after Israel targeted a leader of the Hezbollah terror group in Lebanon. Trey Yingst has the latest from Tel Aviv.
Tuesday afternoon, the leader of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh, met with Iran's supreme leader and the country's new president. Hours later, he was dead. A missile striking the compound where Haniyeh stayed in the Iranian capital of Tehran.
The cause and dimensions of this incident are under investigation, and the results will be announced subsequently.
Iran's supreme leader has vowed revenge for the strike, raising the possibility of a direct attack against Israel that could spark a broader war. Tonight, in an address to the nation, Israel's prime minister vowed to continue going after his country's enemies, saying that Israel hit Iran and its proxies on 3 different fronts over the past several days, but stopped short of taking credit for the Iran strike.
There are challenging days ahead of us. Since the attack in Beirut, threats have been heard from all sides. We are prepared for any scenario and will stand united and determined against any threat.
The killing in Iran came hours after an Israeli airstrike killed a top Hezbollah commander in the suburbs of Beirut. The strike marked the first time since the current war began that Israeli jets targeted Hezbollah in the Lebanese capital. Despite the 2 offensive actions overnight, American officials remain hopeful that a ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas can be completed.
It's profoundly in the interest of trying to put things on a better path, not only in Gaza, but actually throughout the region, because so much is tied to what's happening in Gaza right now.
The UN Security Council held an emergency meeting today to discuss the strikes overnight. This gathering came at Iran's request.
Now to look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's about to be 5:44 now on this Thursday morning, and we are starting again with the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Still some isolated showers across parts of southeastern Kansas, and even the heavier rain down in Oklahoma starting to die out. So we've still got these showers around Burlington, north of Garnett, Iola, around Marana and Gass, and then southwest of Fredonia. Again, very spotty showers. It's a little activity. It's trying to flare back up after that main batch rolled through, or the 2 main batches really rolled through earlier this morning, but not really having much luck. And then down in Oklahoma, again, we've still got these showers. They're now stretching a little further into southwest Missouri. It's just southwest of Neosho along 60. They're on the Will Rogers Turnpike through Veneta, back down toward Claremore, and then starting to exit Skiatook. And we've got a heavier cell, not severe or anything, but getting ready to roll into the Tulsa metro area this morning as well. And that's really about it. We had 2 lines of storms come through this morning, then some additional redevelopment trying to take place. That's what's left of line 1 that brought a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings a little after midnight into Bourbon and Crawford County. Line 2 is this that developed and has begun to just rapidly die out as it's rolled east across the area. And then part 3 here is that redevelopment that's been trying to take place back behind this, but really is just having a hard time getting going because a lot of this already worked over the atmosphere, took a lot of that energy away. As we head into tonight, though, we could see another round of showers and thunderstorms, some of which could be strong, low-grade severe, especially along and south of I-44, where we could see maybe some small hail and perhaps some gusty winds out there. So something to keep an eye on for sure. But whatever we see tonight, expected to exit our area very quickly. That's why the lower end risk is here, because it's expected to develop along a frontal boundary and then very quickly push south. Into this afternoon, though, we get this front through and we start to see northerly winds eventually by late evening tonight and into tomorrow, and that's going to help. And then again after midnight, here comes that very quick flare-up of showers and storms. So they could become strong pretty quickly, but then after about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, they are gone, and we're going to be left hot and dry for our Friday, but we'll still have a bit of a northerly breeze out there, which will help a little. But then we're going to start to see temperatures really peak back up into the weekend again. We've got excessive heat warnings still for a good portion of southeastern Kansas. So remember in the warnings here, we could see heat index values to 115. And then we had a number of those excessive heat warnings kind of drop off and will be replaced by heat advisories. So within the heat advisory zones, still could see heat index values 105 to 110. So that falls just below heat warning criteria. So still not a major improvement, but nonetheless, it's a little better. We've got a number of extreme heat safety tips again on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com, including a fantastic graphic that explains the warning signs and symptoms of heat exhaustion versus heat stroke, both of which are possible as we head into the afternoon again with those dangerous heat index values. The rain and the clouds really helped out, though. We're at 71 in Joplin, so a little closer to where we're supposed to be. Most of the area about 10 to 12 degrees cooler this morning than we were yesterday. Dew points down just a little bit, 67. The southeast breeze at 8. And across the area, for the most part, we are low to mid 70s. We do have some upper 60s here and there. We're getting some upper 70s out ahead of the rain, but you may still fall back a little bit, even if you don't get much rain. Once this little wave passes through, it will drop temperatures briefly. We could still see a couple of isolated showers or storms through about 9 o'clock, as we showed you on Skywatch Storm Tracker. Some activity trying to get going across southeastern Kansas. Most of us will be dry, partly cloudy, hot by 11 o'clock, close to 90. Highs today, upper 90s, a couple of lower 100s possible, but we're not expecting to see as many of those as we've seen over the last few days. Otherwise, again, just muggy and miserable. We end of the evening. Partly cloudy, then we get those thunderstorm chances in that frontal boundary. It drops us back to about normal, upper 60s, low 70s out there. And again, with that northerly breeze, it'll be a little less humid. Still hot tomorrow, low mid 90s, but less humid. The air is going to be a little drier, a little more bearable. Fortunately, though, as I said, it is short-lived. As we head into next week, temperatures back into the upper 90s and lower 100s. That's Check Your Forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Portland Public Schools is a finalist for the National Summer Learning Award. It's an award for a program that's designed to meet the needs of students, and it's all thanks to Legos. Paulina Aguilar goes in depth on how this classic toy can help students learn.
Legos, upon well, more Legos. Students K through 5 at Fabian School in Northeast Portland are working with Legos robotics kits as part of the PPS Summer Acceleration Academy.
We have taken a lot of feedback from the community and a lot of feedback from our staff and built the program and refined it in a way that really meets the needs of students that are here.
It's a 5-week curriculum based on engineering, computer science, and literacy.
They are given a problem and they solve it through a Lego build and code.
It starts out with a lot of hand-holding where we show them how everything is done, and then they really kind of take off by themselves from there.
This is the first time teacher Nasteha Mohammed has seen Legos implemented in classrooms.
Just like worksheets, it's not like testing. Kids are moving, they're building, they're having conversations. They're really becoming creators, and I've never seen that before.
The students work in pairs. One student learns to code while the other builds the Lego to move.
You can even change her legs into something like this, like that.
It really turns them into critical thinkers because they have to do a lot of problem solving.
It was kind of easy. It was kind of hard, but easy.
Well, not that easy.
Favorite is to build something like really that I didn't know even, and because it's new for me.
Well, how old were you when you first started reading? One 3-year-old in North Dakota has already read 1,000 books with help from her parents, of course. It's through a program their local public library launched this year. Kiona Rivera reports the family is the first to complete the program.
The Nelson family has about 1,500 books on their shelves at home. They say reading brings them to a whole new world with every pages turned.
Look out!
Eva's brother Ian just started kindergarten and has also read 1,000 books already. Their dad Eric says they were surprised to see their kids reach the mark.
I just think it's amazing. I would have never thought that in such a short period of time they read that many books. It's kind of funny thinking about all the books that we didn't count and all the daycare books that were read and grandparents read books.
Eva still has 2 more years before she starts kindergarten, but that doesn't stop her from giving her parents books to read to her every chance she gets.
What's your favorite one?
They say it all starts from home, and their mom is an avid reader. Her love for reading started with mystery books like the Nancy Drew series.
But reading has always been my thing. My parents would always say that I only became a good traveler once I could read in the car. And then that's how I spent all my trips, was reading.
Children's librarian Randy Monley says the Minot Public Library wants to instill reading as an everyday routine.
They really are learning those early literacy skills before they go into school. And they're also really building a relationship with books and their caregivers. It's just such a great opportunity for the little ones.
Both Eric and Beth say they hope their children will keep finding their love for reading, and say they also learn something new with every book read.
You can download the Beanstack app to find reading challenges near you. We'll be right back. The White House executive chef has retired. Christina Comerford cooked for 5 commanders-in-chief and their families over 29 years. The groundbreaking chef was the first woman and person of color to hold the top job in the White House kitchen. Comerford started working at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in 1995 during the Clinton administration. 10 years later, First Lady Laura Bush elevated her to executive chef, where she oversaw all White House cuisine from family meals to state dinners. Comerford emigrated from Manila at 23 years old. She started her career in the U.S. making salads at Chicago hotels. Well, pinball wizards, it's time to hit the arcade. Today is National Pinball Day. The modern iteration of the game came in the late 1940s when flippers were introduced, but its concept can date back to the 18th century France. Pinball has an interesting history. New York City banned the game for decades starting in the 1940s as a way to reduce mob activity and gambling. In 1976, Roger Sharp testified at a New York City hearing that pinball was a game of skill, not chance. He helped lift the ban and may have saved the game. National Pinball Day started in 2019 as a way to honor Sharp.
Man, you know, you used to be able to find pinball machines in some gas stations around town. I remember the Snack Attack at 4th and St. Louis. And then how many of you folks at home remember Coach's Corner at Zora and Rangeline? Both of those places had really cool pinball machines. And then there used to be an arcade facility at the go-kart track there on West 7th. Had a lot of pinball machines in there as well. I miss those old days. You know, back when you could just go throw a quarter in there. Take a break from things like this, the heat out there. Great way to spend some time. And if you've got access to a pinball machine today, great time to do that as well. Could still see a couple of isolated showers or storms through about 9 o'clock. Most of us will be dry, partly cloudy, upper 80s near 90 by 11. Still hot today, still an alert day today. Upper 90s for most of us, maybe a couple of lower 100s. And we'll still have those heat index values anywhere from 105 to 115 degrees. Partly cloudy skies through the evening, and then we get a cold front that could trigger a few thunderstorms, mainly along and south of I-44. A couple of strong storms possible too, but they'll exit quickly, but they're going to leave behind that. Cooler temperatures out there. Still hot tomorrow, but with the north breeze and after that front pushes through, we're less humid Friday and Saturday. So still hot, but not that bad. And then dangerous heat returns as we head into next week, back into the lower 100s. We'll be back with more right after this.